Hi, this is William Steele with All in VR. I'm all in VR. Are you? So today we're going to talk about something that I had the opportunity to be part of, which was a VR study for Meta. It was actually a study being run by another company on behalf of Meta, and specifically it had to do with some new hand tracking functionality. I can't go into detail completely about little aspect of it, but I can be very general. It was to add functionality to hand tracking that gave you potentially more subtle control over certain things and could add both functionality that could be used in a number of ways, both just to make daily use of the headset a little bit easier, and it could also be used, I could see, as a potential accessibility use case. Again, it's still not publicly released and all the details. They're changing some things and tweaking some things, probably about how it will be implemented. But the more important aspect is that it's cool that Meta is still continuing to work on things, and even very subtle things. This isn't a huge overhaul of finger tracking, of hand tracking. It's a more subtle use of hand tracking. I'll let you kind of imagine what it's going to be. I asked permission about what I could talk about, and while I was given permission to talk about it, I was not given permission to talk about all the specifics of what they're working on. So unfortunately, I can't touch that topic until this functionality is eventually released. But I thought it was worth mentioning that Meta is in fact still working on even some very subtle things that could have some fairly good use cases. I actually found the experience to be very interesting, not just of what they're working on, but also how the how the VR study went. So essentially, I sat in a VR headset for multiple sessions while I repeated essentially the same tasks every time, giving feedback and asked questions about what I thought about those tasks and about how the hand tracking sessions, they were kind of testing to see how my hands would move. There were cameras looking at both me, I believe, and my hands. Again, I get to receive that footage, but I can't release it publicly. I believe I probably could maybe after it's released, but at the moment, I'm not gonna be able to release the footage of me actually doing anything. Again, I appreciate the ability to talk about it, that Meta is okay with me talking about doing the study or being part of the study, but I can't go into a whole lot of detail. But it's subtle hand tracking, not changes, but subtle new hand tracking features. Again, I'll let you guys speculate all day. You can comment all day about this. It's actually kind of fun having something that I can't quite reveal right now. And so I've been part of it. I actually applied and was accepted. They seemed to actually be looking for people that were more experienced VR users who had Oculus Quest. Now, they didn't tell me exactly that that's what they were looking for, but they seemed happy that I was a fairly frequent user of the Oculus Quest. They thought it was cool that I had the Quest Pro. Now, that wasn't a person or a representative from Meta. There were no Meta representatives there. They're using an independent company to do this VR study, which is also, I think, good. It kind of eliminates any bias, because that can always be a problem. If you're trying to get feedback to people, or you're trying to give feedback to people or receive feedback from other people, when the people that are trying to get the feedback are too involved in the development of what they're building, that can clearly create a kind of, what's the word I'm trying to think of? That can create a kind of conflict of interest, because you want to hear certain things. That the whole point of having an independent research study group is to try to make the process as unbiased as possible. So obviously, they didn't ask me what I think about Meta, whether I like Meta, whether I like their products. It was just completely about what I thought about what they're trying to implement. They asked me different ways I could imagine it being used. They asked me whether there's certain ways I feel like it might work better. They asked about the flaws, what doesn't work, things that I didn't like versus things that I liked. So it was a very well-rounded, and for something very specific. It's a very, very specific, subtle hand tracking type of thing that Meta was trying to get a lot of feedback for. So they're clearly being very thorough, which I appreciate. With everything that's going on with Facebook and Meta, with changing directions and layoffs and everything else, they're clearly still doing some of these things. Now, maybe this was already in the works, in the plan, and couldn't be canceled. They may have already had a contract with the company that's doing the VR study. And so it might just be going forward anyway, since they already paid for it. I have no idea. But the people doing the VR study were very friendly, very talkative. It was a very enjoyable 1 hour experience. I have no complaints about it. And to be completely honest, it was also something I got paid for. So you get paid to do the study. I signed up, and yeah, it was kind of cool. So stay tuned for some new hand tracking features and functionalities to come out in the imagine near future, but it could take some time. You know, it takes time for a big company to get everything through the pipeline. It was clear that not all decisions have been made with it, so that's why they're trying to get feedback. They're very open to suggestions. So I imagine it'll be a little bit of time before we see it roll out. But when we do, I will let you know. When we see it in a update, when it's released, I will tell you that that was the functionality and features that the VR study was about. So anyway, just a little bit of fun stuff to whet your appetite about new things coming in the Meta Quest Pro and Meta Quest world. Again, this was all done in a Meta Quest 2, not in the Quest Pro. So obviously the functionality they were focusing on the Quest 2, which obviously I imagine will work in the Quest Pro as well when it comes out. But yeah, so I hope you found this fun. Feel free to speculate all you want. Looking for all sorts of suggestions and speculation of what they could be working on, because that'll be fun to read. So chime in, let me know. This is Will Steele with All in VR. I'm all in VR. Are you?